What do you think is going to happen when you elect a Muslim anti-Jew mayor in the most Jewish city in America? And what do you think is going to happen when you elect a Muslim, an always creepily smiling Muslim immigrant from Uganda, who is obsessively focused on denigrating Jews and denigrating Israel to the most powerful office in the city? What did you think was going to happen? Seriously. In the last 2 years, there have been more anti-Semitic attacks in New York than at any other time in history. Last year, the number 1,437. This year, and it's only July, there have already been 1,160. That is the most anti-Semitic attacks, assaults, harassment, crime in the country by far. What did you think was going to happen when 3 days ago that same Muslim Ugandan socialist mayor called for the arrest of the prime minister of another country?
My administration has reviewed every avenue available under applicable law to determine whether New York City could execute the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant if Benjamin Netanyahu came here. It is clear that we do not have the independent legal authority to enforce this warrant. The federal government, however, does. And I call on them to join the ICC and execute this warrant. And I want to be equally clear. Benjamin Netanyahu is not welcome in New York City.
What did you think was going to happen when you elected an anti-Israel Muslim mayor who condemned the arrest of Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro, but then called for the arrest of the Jewish prime minister of Israel, tweeting after Maduro was arrested that, quote, unilaterally attacking a sovereign nation is an act of war and a violation of federal law and international law. But then he called for the arrest this week of Benjamin Netanyahu without any irony at all.
I called the president and spoke with him directly to register my opposition to this act and to make clear that it was an opposition based on being opposed to a pursuit of regime change, to the violation of federal international law, and a desire to see that be consistent each and every day.
And what did you think was going to happen when you allow thousands of Muslims in New York City to pray in the streets, in public parks, not in a mosque? They don't do this in mosques in New York City. They do it in the streets. They do it in Times Square, parks. Again, not in a mosque, and that's deliberate, but in public, with the call to prayer blaring over speakers.
This is not Cairo, Mecca, or Medina. It's New York City. And the Adhan, or Muslim call to prayer, is ringing out in the Big Apple, especially during Ramadan.
What did you think was going to happen? Well, exactly what happened. A Jewish man walking out of a Jewish center and an Asian man were stabbed in New York City yesterday with a screwdriver by a Muslim man who allegedly yelled Allahu Akbar repeatedly as he stabbed them with that screwdriver. That is exactly what happens. But thankfully, Zohran Mandami immediately issued a long, impassioned tweet condemning anti-Semitism. Clearly, Zohran cares. And this tweet clearly shows his overwhelming support for the 2 million Jews that live in New York City. Now, here it is. It's going to take me a minute to read this, so just bear with me. Quote, "These hateful and despicable attacks have no place in our city," end quote. That's it. Nothing about anti-Semitism. 3 days after calling for the arrest of the Prime Minister of Israel, that was it. Now compare that to how Zohran reacted when there's even a whiff of something anti-Muslim.
The dream of every Muslim is simply to be treated the same as any other New Yorker. And yet for too long we have been told to ask for less than that and to be satisfied with whatever little we receive. No more.
Yeah, Zohran, that is also the dream of everybody else in New York City, including Jewish people in New York City, not to be harassed in the middle of the day walking out of a Jewish center. But every time you talk about genocide and every time you talk about calling Jews war criminals, you put a target on the back of Jews in America who have absolutely nothing to do with what's happening in the Middle East. I'm sorry, they don't. And you are, I think, knowingly, just my opinion, but I think knowingly incentivizing crazy people to hurt Jewish people.